Hi there, I'm Rod Bergeron, and welcome back to another quick and easy watercolor painting. I filled my 3/4 inch brush up full of water, and I've wet the top 2/3 of my piece of paper here. And this paper is 4.5 by 6, in case you're wondering. All right, I'm gonna take my brush, and I'm just gonna put a couple of streaks of blue across like that. No more than that, that's it, okay? So I'm gonna pick up some Payne's gray here, a little bit of Payne's gray, and we're gonna put in a little bit of a tree, kind of trees on both sides here, and then sort of a meadow in the middle, okay? And we're just gonna keep doing that. And I'm tapping my brush onto the page to release some of the pigment onto the page. And there's no brush strokes there, it's just all tapping. And we're going to put a little bit of Payne's gray across here. Now I'm not going to clean this brush out. I'm going to put this brush right onto my Payne's gray, and I'm going to tap there and there, okay? And those of you that have watched me before have seen this. This is my #1 watercolor brush, and I've sharpened the one end of it with a utility knife, and I'm just going to put the indication of some tree branches or some brush in both sides of this. And all I'm doing is I'm just dragging out of that Payne's gray that I put in there, and then I'm going up and I'm going down some of the same lines to make my branches. Okay, that's it. That's all you need to do for that. Okay, now get your brush again, clean it off, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow ochre, and I'm just going to do that. I'm going to put a couple of splashes of yellow ochre in the foreground there, and then I'm going to do a couple of splashes of pretty intense yellow ochre across there. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to grab my little brush and scribe some lines into there. It doesn't have to be a brush. Again, it can be anything that's wooden, a wooden barbecue skewer, anything like that. I'm not going to rinse this brush out. I'm going to use it to pick up some sienna, pretty intense sienna. I'm going to put some marks of some sienna in a few places like that. Okay, and then we're just going to allow that to bleed off to wherever it is it's going to bleed off to. I'm going to pick up my rinsed up brush out super good, and I'm going to pick up a bunch of sap green fairly intensely, okay? And I'm going to put this across the tops of these trees. Again, we're going to let that just bleed off to wherever it is it's going to bleed off to. I'm going to put a little bit of this across here, a little bit more maybe. Might even put just a couple of indications of green across there too. All right. So we want to connect the top to the bottom. And the way that we're going to do that is with yellow ochre. I rinse my brush off really well. I'm going to pick up a whole bunch of yellow ochre here, as much as I can on my brush. I'm going to load my brush till it can't hold any more yellow ochre. And I'm going to make a practice of going across here. So I'm going to have to turn my brush a little bit narrower. My objective should be to touch the top and the bottom sections at the same time, okay? Like that. And just right across there. Now, that's not quite as intense as I wanted it to be. So I'm going to go back and pick up some more yellow ochre right off the palette. And I'm going to touch this in a few places too. Maybe a few more down here. And I think just to end it, I'm going to put a couple of little splotches of yellow ochre up there like that. Now, I have my little bag of salt here. I'm going to put a little bit of salt across the tops of these trees. Maybe a little bit in that puddle right there, a little bit in that puddle, and then just sprinkle it across the bottom. Wherever it is that you want some drama is how you should think of it, okay? And that's probably enough salt. And now we're just going to sit back and wait and see if it turns out. All right, So don't touch it anymore, just walk away. All right, let's check this out. Look at the salt it's done across here. I'm gonna tell you, salt in watercolor is just magic. And look at all the little things that it's done here. But look at this green, and this green. That's way back in the far background back there. All right, that turned out pretty good. I like it. Yeah, it looks better with a little bit more of the sky. A little bit more of the sky, a little bit less foreground. Yeah, I think that's probably it right there. All right, thanks for watching. If you're currently a subscriber, thanks a lot. If you're not currently a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you're looking for any of the stuff that I use, you know, the Sennelier watercolor or the brushes, whatever, all that stuff is listed out in the description, and there's links to my Amazon account there too. So if you give those a try, I would really appreciate it. And as always, I'd love to know where you're from. If you could drop me a line, let me know where you're from. I'd really appreciate it. I love seeing where people watch me from. It's super interesting for me. And, you know, if you ever have a question or a comment, you want me to paint something, you want me to try something that I haven't shown you before, I'd love to hear from you. So please drop me a comment. Thanks a lot for watching today, and we'll see you again real soon.